Thank you for staying tuned. So there you have it, a background into the ethics and the legal consideration of egg donation. If we still have Madame Efoma, I would like her to still, give me an answer on that particular topic. But let's quickly move on now to our very next question for Abiola. Yes. Okay, now, what measures can be taken to prevent the exploitation of egg donation, especially in an economically vulnerable community like Nigeria?
Thank you very much. But before I answer that question, I'd like to answer the previous question that says that same-sex,
yes, we were on that. Yeah,
same-sex
of
babies.
Of course.
It's illegal in Nigeria, so it's not even topic for discussion. Okay, so that doesn't
happen. It's not even
in
Nigeria at all.
If it's happening in Nigeria, it's absolutely illegal. Okay, so that's that. So the ethical considerations. Okay, first of all, donors that are recruited to donate, they need to have informed consent. They need to be educated on what they're doing and why they're doing it. Most of these donors are doing it for altruistic reasons.
Which is money.
No. Altruistic reasons is not money.
Okay, it's not money driven, yes.
Money is to give them some sort of allowance for the inconveniences that they are going through while they're donating. If you're talking about money, how much can you actually give someone that would be worth them going through that process for another human being that they don't even know? Some are anonymous, some they are non-anonymous, but in Nigeria of today, it's only anonymous donation. So I'm putting myself out there to help someone that I don't know, to make that family happy, quote unquote, because once you have a baby of your own, you're the happiest person living, especially if you've suffered 10, 15, 20 years of infertility. So there is no amount of money that can compensate that donor. So it is still altruistic. It is out of their good heart. It is because they choose to do this, not because they are coerced. Because it's chump change, to be honest with you. The allowance money that is given to donors is chump. It cannot do anything. They're doing it because they know about it, they've heard about it, and they want to help. That's it.
But is that always the case?
That's always the case. Because if it's about the money, nobody will do it. Nobody. Because that money is nothing.
Okay, so before I ask my next question, I do know there was a time that they said that some students, were actually giving up themselves for their eggs to be harvested while they are being paid, some amount of money. So I don't know, because of what you said, I'm just thinking, what would be the aim of those ones? But then, to my question, how do you ensure informed consent is obtained, from the donors? Particularly, in a context where literacy or information, or maybe information may be limited, to this donors, because some of them don't even know the entire process they have to go through in order to donate the egg. They just know that, a friend of mine signed up to be an egg donor, and person encouraged me.
Exactly, and I also want to.
Yes, thank you very much. That's a very good question. So how do you ensure informed consent? That's the reason why this is happening. That's the reason why we're having this conversation. That's the reason why we need to educate ourselves, donors and practitioners alike. You have to go to the right place. AFRH has registered clinics that we self-regulate ourselves and ensure that we do the right thing by everybody, patients, donors, surrogate, anybody that walks through our clinics. We have to do right by them. Even the patients receiving the treatment must know what they're getting into, the implications of what they're doing and how they're doing it. You're talking about university students. Very good. University students are going through school. They're educated. They're aware. They know what is going on. They know, okay, if I choose to do this, this is the reason why I'm doing it. There are other ways to make money. There are many other ways to make money. This is not the only way to make money. But they choose to donate their eggs and maybe get a few change. But ultimately, they want to help. That is part of the screening process. When you're recruiting egg donors, you want to know that they have that deep-seated need to
So you
help
make them
other people.
understand.
Yes.
Okay.
And they sign.
They sign.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, now let's go back to Madam Foma. I guess she's back to us now. Hello, ma'am. Okay.
Hello, I can hear you, yes.
Okay. I was asking before we lost connection there that, many African countries lack clear regulatory framework for egg donation. How does this impact the practice and what challenges arise as a result of this?
Thank you. I was listening to the doctor on the set with you. And
Not again. Wow, the network is not so favorable this morning. All right, so let's move on. Of course, I'm sure she will be able to, connect back to us. You already mentioned that, maybe most people do it for say that word again? Altruistic reasons,
Yes.
which is the need to help. But I beg to differ, because in this climate, in this present society that we are in, everybody knows that economic, issue, it's like a major thing. And anybody will do anything if not guided to make money. So I still feel, especially for those university students you cited, they would want to say, okay, is it just eggs? Yeah, let me go ahead and donate the eggs. Now, my question is this. Are there no health implications, attached to this?
Well, there are mild health implications and some severe in rare cases. The mild health implications will be, bloating, discomfort from injections.
Now, for the donor, right?
For the donors. Maybe mood swings, from the hormonal therapy that they're going through. And by the way, whatever it is that they're taking is already in the system of the female. It's just getting a little boost. So there is nothing contraindicating with the hormones that they're taking to develop the eggs. Those are the mild side effects. The severe side effect is ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, which is OHSS. That can really cause discomfort, major discomfort, shortness of breath, serious bloating, and sometimes, if care is not taken, can make them really sick. So that is the reason why, when you want to be an egg donor, you have to make sure that you're doing it with the right person. As you're talking about ethical legislation and all that, we are currently working with the House to make sure that we actually have a legislation in this space. Because the truth of the matter is, because it's free for all, we have other quacks coming into the space and bastardizing the normal process that is supposed to be taken. Any sane medical practitioner in this space knows the right thing to do and how to prevent risks that is going to put the life of the donor at risk. So, that's why I said this forum is very good. It's educative for people that don't know. You can't throw away the dirty water with the baby or the baby with the dirty water. You have to identify the real good that ART, assisted reproductive technology, is doing, as opposed to what the quacks are doing to paint, the whole process black.
Okay. Well, at this point in time, because this particular discussion concerns every Nigerian.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, the phone lines will be open. We have a few more minutes to go with this discussion. So let's hear your thoughts. Even if you have a question, for the doctor. Yes.
I'm not a doctor, actually. I'm a medical sonographer, but I work very closely with doctors.
Yes. A medical practitioner. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
A medical practitioner, that is a person of Abiola Adewusi. She's here. And of course, if you have any question for Madam Ufoma, if she's not readily available to answer your question, we could get it across to her. So once you see the phone lines, do well to call us and let's hear your thoughts on this issue. Cleo, do you want to take the next one?
Yes. So let me ask this, because we've talked about the need to help, which is majorly, like you put it, the reason for the egg donors donating their eggs. But what is your perspective on fair compensation for egg donors? And, how is this being addressed in the industry? Because a lot, I think, was it last year that there were concerns raised in the media about how, like I said again, some students were donating their eggs for paltry, sum of money, just because maybe some of them said they wanted to make ends meet and all of that. But in your own, as someone who practices and who, has come in contact with donors a lot of time, what's your perspective on unfair compensation?
Okay,
and is there any such thing as that, really? Because like you said...
you just answered the question.
Yeah.
The money given to them is paltry, to be honest, because it's really nothing that they can get and then do something major with. You can only assist them with their immediate expenses while they're going through the process. So, and that is the reason why I insist you must be willing to do it for you to go through the process. Because if you're doing it once and getting a huge amount of money to do a major thing in your life, then that will be coercion.
Really?
Based on what now? Is it based on the law or based on...
There's no law. There's no law in Nigeria.
Law at the
There's no
moment.
law at the moment.
And I think that is where the
that's
problem...
the reason why AFRH, the Association for Fertility and Reproductive Health, that oversees all the practitioners in Nigeria, is agitating for ART regulation.
Okay. And we hope that comes
We
anytime
self-regulate
soon.
ourselves within AFRH. If you're an AFRH member, you have to go by our guidelines. If you don't, you're out.
Okay, so what's one of those guidelines?
Guidelines, exactly.
One of the guidelines is to protect everybody in the space of ART while you're delivering the services, whether it's the patient, whether it's the donor, whether it's the surrogate, even the practitioners themselves. Everybody have their roles that needs to be played very well.
Okay, so let me quickly chip in this question. In a case where a donor has already donated, and been given someone to take care of their immediate needs, like you say, but later they needed advanced care, like maybe if they started developing some minor side effects, complications from donating. Are there guidelines to make sure that this person gets to premium health, back to premium health?
Correct.
Before they donated?
Correct.
Let's quickly get back to Madam Ifoma. Yes, she's back to us. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Abiola mentioned the fact that the association responsible for fertility are already pressing, for a regulation of this space. Ma'am, do you think if there is a regulation, maybe the reception or the acceptance of assisted reproductive technology would be better as it relates to the culture of our country?
I don't know how you can regulate evil. And that's the short answer to it. Because I was saying before I got cut off that the process of harvesting, they don't just harvest one egg. They harvest many, okay? They store them. And these are potential human beings that should have rights, okay? And then at the point where you need to implant, they go through a process of probably selecting the most viable. And they don't implant just one. So, you're manipulating life, whether you like it or not. And then at the other end, you say, when the baby is born, whose baby is that? Is it the donor or the surrogate? And I know abroad, they have the regulation.
Wow, this network thing. I would really like her to land on that thought.
Exactly.
Please, once she's back, just let me know and we'll bring her back in. Now, she asked it. Okay, you were about to finish a question.
Yes.
Please,
let's. I really like to know.
Okay.
I would like to know what's the the package for donors that if in case they need advanced care apart from the immediate ones given to them.
So basically, if you put a donor through treatment and they require health services post
Donation.
donation, the hospital has 100% responsibility to take care of that donor until she gets better.
And the donors are aware of this.
Yes, that's part of pre-counseling. That's part of informed consent, and that's what part of what they need to know before they get into it.
Now, this is a very interesting discussion we are having, and Madam Ifoma raised a very, interesting question
Yes.
there. Who is the owner of the baby?
The patient.
The patient.
Yes. Adoption is legal, right? Who is the owner of the baby?
Adoption is legal, but many would see this maybe not
No,
really,
I'm just
not the
using
conventional
I'm just
adoption.
using that as an example of how you
Yeah.
can actually love a child
Yes.
that you didn't give birth to and take that child as your own. What's the purpose of being a parent or is it just to continue the DNA, or to be a parent, have someone to love, nurture, and raise with good values? We need to ask these questions.
So if you could love a child without you giving birth to the child, why not just opt for adoption? I'm asking a question for, someone that
Okay,
is
so
wondering.
let me tell you how egg donation works. I'm the female. I have a husband. Someone is kind enough to donate her eggs for me to be able to get pregnant, use with my husband's sperm. So you're automatically moving that patient 10 steps ahead, as opposed to waiting for a baby from an adoption agency for many, many years.
Okay, so let me ask this, because in the first report that was shown, there was a woman, in one of the, who talked about DNA,
Yes.
that's when you donate eggs and, the surrogate carries the egg, there is an alteration, mixing of DNAs and all of that, that kind of caught my attention. So I would like to know how.
When I was ill a long time ago, I had to take blood transfusion. If I didn't, I'll be dead. Okay, this has nothing to do with egg donation into a woman, but we all know the impact of infertility in the world. Because this is not just a Nigerian case, it's not Africa, it's global. So if I'm sick and I need assistance, I need someone to donate something, they donated. Is that a crime?
Okay. Okay, but on the part of both donors and recipients, what is the framework for their privacy and protection?
Totally anonymous, totally private, totally anonymous. In Nigeria of today, totally anonymous.
So have there been cases where patients are probably curious as to,
Who donated this egg?
who donated this egg, maybe they want to know what the genetic makeup of this
the
person
egg.
If they want to know what the genetic makeup is fine. All they have to do is run a genetic test.
Okay.
But does that happen? Like now, maybe somebody is saying...
Is that usually given?
Yeah,
No,
does
Because
that
they're
happen?
not going to say, okay, you donor, come here. I want to take your blood so that I can know what your genetic, is genetic setup
Makeup,
is made,
exactly.
made up of. No, if you want the genetics, you will test.
Sorry, Abiola, we have Madam Ifoma. She's back. Hello, ma'am.
Our network lately has been very, very...
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. She's joining us via audio now. So you were trying to land on a thought. You were talking about who owns the baby and that something about the U.S.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that. One of the guidelines is that when the child grows up, the child is results of the egg donation process. The child has the right to know the person that donated the egg, in other words, the biological mother. But in Nigeria, you have even heard from the lady who's on set with you that we don't have such regulations. In fact, the ART field is not regulated in Nigeria. So at the end of the day, like I said, the short answer is you cannot regulate an evil. we are just trying to manage. It's like a Frankenstein that you don't know how it will grow, how many heads this monster is going to have. So my own is, why is it that the practitioners who are in this assisted reproductive field are not looking at other options?
Okay.
They're not looking at other options on how to help the woman who has a fertility problem, or how to help the man who has a fertility problem. So why are we not exploring all those options? Why are we so quick to go in the areas where, there are so many questions? Like I said, you harvest more than one egg, you freeze them, those are potential lives, and that is how people are now looking at cloning, using embryos to do all kinds of tests, and these are human beings. Every one of us started off like that.
I see your point. Now, when you mention other, options, do you have some other ones? Like now, if someone has been said to, like Abiola rightly said, someone has been said to be infertile, fertility, and they have fertility issues. What other options can they look at, apart from egg donors or sperm donation?
There are treatments where the first have to find out what is causing the infertility. Okay? Some are man-made, some are congenital, and all that. So from the cause, you now know what solution to offer. I dare say I was one of them. I didn't conceive until 13 years after my marriage. So there are so many things that we can't go into here that they can offer the couples, okay? But they are quick to, especially maybe if you've tried for 3 to 5 years, why not do the IVF? Why not? They are not, they don't encourage. There are so many things, at least technology and advancements in health have shown us that there are so many things involved in reproduction, okay? So let's explore those. Let's use the money. This money they are offering girls to donate their eggs. Use it because we know that every woman is born with the number of eggs that she has. It's not like men that produce sperm they produce it in millions. But a girl child is born with the number of eggs she will have for life. So the only thing is that your ovaries release one at every month, okay? Then by the time you stimulate these ovaries to release, I don't know how many, and you harvest more than 6 to 10, 12. I don't know whether you've seen the video about some two girls whose own they went wrong. It was on Talk with Chude, Although that is obvious that they went to a quack. But you see, once something, you've let something out of the bag, you can't regulate it. And so that's why I said the short answer is you cannot regulate an evil. Let's accept that and now move back. Let's not get to where we begin to argue where does life begin, like they do in US now that they've accepted abortion is right. So, okay, abortion, is it preterm? Is it how many months should a fetus be before it? Oh my gosh, we shouldn't get there.
I get your point.
At least we are still close to our culture right now. Let's move back. Let's draw back. We are getting close to the cliff. So I don't even want to go down the line of discussion of how can we regulate it. You can't regulate an evil. Let's go back. Why are people live better?
Okay, I think I like the point she just raised. Why are people infertile? But because of time, your final thoughts for now, just in less than a minute, ma'am.
Okay, my final thoughts on we should help couples fertility issues to trace the source of their infertility and use technology and health instead of trying to whitewash evil, because as far as I'm concerned, most of the things that the artificial reproductive therapists and technologies do most of it is evil. IVF is evil because of the process of getting the components of the IVF, storing it, and what happens after. When you've had your 1 or 2 children by IVF, you still have your eggs with them. What happens to those eggs? Those are questions that they are not answering now. And that is why we shouldn't even get there. Let's use technology and advancement to help infertile couples, not for them to do evil. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Ifeoma George Effort. We really appreciate you joining us, and thank you for the effort that you made and for your contributions. Very salient indeed. Thank you. All right, we have the polls. Let's quickly look at the polls before we go, and then your final thoughts in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do you feel about cross-border egg donation, e.g. donors from African countries traveling to other regions? Opportunity for donors, we have 43%. Concerns, 57%. And then, of course, 0%, I'm not sure. These are the kind of questions that people ask, like, okay, because I've seen that, as an opportunity to say, oh, more money, or I'm crossing over outside of Nigeria to go and enjoy my life. Well, there you have it, Nigerians saying what they think about that. Now, Abiola Adeosi, your final thoughts for now.
My final thoughts. First of all, thanks for having me. Thank you. And I really appreciate the input of Madam Ifeoma as well. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. Yeah. I don't think there's anything evil about assisted reproductive technology. I think it actually brings joy to a lot of family that otherwise wouldn't have had access to treatment and completing their families. It's actually, I've been in this space for over 20 years, and I know how they come in psychologically and how they leave very happy when they have their own children. So there's nothing evil about it. Thank you.
I think it's for everyone to, get more information and, more research. And I think I like what Madam Ifeoma, a submission is that we should look inwards. There should be more, instead of looking at the extreme,
solutions
you should look for solutions in fertility. And I also like your submission, the fact that if they have taking advantage of all other options and they go for egg donation and they can come back with, joy that, they got what they wanted. Why not, if not? Thank you very much to you both for being on the show today. Really appreciate your contribution, appreciate your expertise and, your submission. Very, very beautiful, salient points both of you have made. And that's the much we can take on the front burner this morning. We'll take a very quick break and then we will be back with the news. Stay tuned.